Hello, my fellow YouTubers. We're back in action. Bird rescued, let free, families all calm. Hello, Adam. The bird is safe and let free. Families calm. Let's get back at us. So I got some more of these cut up as well. And some cool stuff I want to go over with you guys on this build is pretty much every part that goes along with making a transmitter and a receiver. Power, capacitance. I use the Tesla Java. It's pretty cool. You guys can get it on the internet. It's a calculator. You just plug in the numbers. And it'll give you everything you need, cap size, where to connect to the primary. But that's good for beginners to start off with. It gives you really a good sense of what you're going to be looking for or making, and actually what to get, what to expect out of it. You're only going to get out of it what you put into it. And as I mature in this area here, I would just say that you're really dealing with Mother Nature. And Mother Nature will only show you if you create the right conditions. And be aware when you do, because Mother Nature will open up her doors and will do things that you couldn't even imagine. So this is pretty much what's going to be the base. This is the opening here. Let's go ahead. I got some 1/4 inch tubing. See, I got this one's an older one. I might as well use that instead of brand new stuff. And we're going to make that work. So let's start off by getting the glue. And since this is closest to the transformer, we'll make that the connection there, because you can move it around where you want it. And then also, I want you to take notice here that the bottom, how it's spun, this is 20 gauge magnetic wire, and I sprayed some shellac on it after I spun it. The 704 turns, 566 kilohertz frequency, resonant frequency. And look at the direction I turned it. So it's turning clockwise, and it's the same direction as the coil, okay? So we're building the transmitter. And that will screw into there, and that you'll be able to adjust up and down. We'll take this table and put a little 6-inch legs on it to elevate it up so this can screw up and down. So we're going to start off over here, get a good amount of glue to start off. And there's the first one. Obviously, this is the time-consuming part. But it doesn't take long for hot glue to stick, I'll just say that. But what I like about this primary, by having the opening bigger, a lot bigger than the secondary, is that I'm going to be teaching myself on how to transmit high frequency waves on standing waves of low frequency. And this is where I believe Edley Scallon, the main reason I'm building this, is I believe Edley Scallon, from the tripod to the wheelhouse, we'll call it, where the wheel is that with the wheel and the pipe, he's sending a low frequency, high current wave, a compression wave through the ground. And he's got that in tune to the tripod. And obviously all the coils that are on his wall are air capacitors. And with the tripod being set up with the box on top, he could tune wherever he put that tripod. And he could have tuned that tripod to be the receiving part of his standing wave, and then there he could send the high frequency wave in with the standing wave, and that could have been the frequency wave of the coral rock itself. And that means that that coral rock in that area under that tripod should be weightless, because you're oscillating the ground from one section to the wheelhouse, the tripod to the wheelhouse. And that is a sound-based vibration that's resonating between the wheelhouse and the tripod. So I think I killed enough time to move on to the next one. And we're going to go ahead and put some more glue. Hold that down. Put some more glue over here. Get that stuck down. But that's where I believe Edley Scallon was capable of taking objects and being able to make them weightless, because you have to create the environment, and Mother Nature is only going to show you what she wants. You got to make the condition right. And the condition is this, and vibration creates electricity too. But to be able to take those stones under the tripod and get lift, hey, you're back. What's up, Adam? I figure I get a little more done while my internet's taking a crap hole. So think about what I'm saying, Adam. As far as the low frequency, and what you're doing with the tripod is you're creating a wavelength that you resonate with the standing wave, and then you're sending a frequency modulated in that standing wave to resonate to the stone. So the stone would just, once it's broken free, snap free, it should be just being able to be managed by some type of air capacitor that he has, that he's able to tune, and by tuning it in and out of its frequency would be able to allow the stone to either go higher or lower. That's why we're putting together a little Tesla technology here. And I believe establishing that wave would be based on what size boulders you're pulling out, because there's got to be a mathematical equation that allows that standing wave, sort of like AC and DC, and making a reactor, mixing DC with AC, where you put low voltage DC and you could alter the current on AC. So I guess what I'm getting at is if you could make a satchable reactor, and you would be able to control the density of the stone, or adjust the density of the stone to what it needs to alter the density of the stone based on lift. It's all mathematical. It's there. Not saying I know it, but it's there. Now I was thinking, I'm thinking about Ed, and I'm saying, what is he doing? 1921? 1919? What the heck is Tesla doing at that time? Tesla was in his, he was prime and prime. So obviously Ed Lee Scallon is following the heck out of Tesla. And Mr. Marconi. So I guess the main question you should ask yourself is, how do you make a standing wave? Well, I pondered that, and I realized you need a transmitter and a receiver. And in the middle of the first harmonic, which would be the receiver, the middle of that distance between the transmitter and the receiver would be your standing wave, your high pressure. That's what we're creating by using a Tesla coil transmitter of high potential in ground, as well air, but more in ground, because we're going to do a separate video where we're just focusing on the resonator that we're going to put in the ground. That's going to resonate out through the ground. It's going to be a combination of some things I've been reading that includes Wilhelm Reich with the Cloud Buster. There's a little with Wilhelm Reich. Now remember, Wilhelm Reich, if you do or don't know about Wilhelm Reich, definitely read into him, because he was a man that understood the energy reaction in between all things, all objects. Got to make sure these are all at a good distance. In between the primary windings here, this is a 1/4 inch hollow copper tubing. You're going to build, you tap. Hey Adam. So, and everybody else. So yeah, Wilhelm Reich was into psychology, and I would just say that was his major. But he also made it rain out in dry deserts, and he also stumbled over a luminous light that was in between salt and some type of metallic, aluminum or steel wool or something, and he's seen a luminous light hanging around them too, and that was in the basement when the light went out, and I guess his whatever light he had, and he stumbled into how the reaction and that started the whole process of humans looking into the different reactions between objects, basically. So if you look at your energies that are in wood or metals or whatever, Wilhelm Reich built a machine, a box, and it was 10 layers, and it was steel wool with some type of wood, organic material, he called it. So it could have been cotton, I guess, but it was organic, inorganic. And what he claimed, which I find to be true because I've been following him since like 86 or 87, as well as Ed Lee Scowen. But Wilhelm Reich was, #1, the biggest book burner. So anyway, biggest book burning in the history of the United States. He made this box. He called the energy orgone energy, and he made this box that was layered of organic, inorganic materials, and he said that through his studies, he claims that the organic material was receiving the energy, and the inorganic material, your metallics, had twofold. It would receive the energy, but it would also repel it. So what he noticed was in his studies that when you absorb the energy in by using organic wood or whatever, wood shavings, could be anything, that it would absorb the orgone energy, and it would come in, then it would get to the metal, it would be absorbed, but it would also wouldn't be able to bounce out. So now it starts a vibratorial bouncy bounce about itself. As well as it got to the next layer of organic, it would absorb it in, and then it would get to the or inorganic material, and then it would all of a sudden now wouldn't let it out. So the energy above it is bouncing and vibratory and in between the layers. So you have a continuous vibration, but you have a continuum of the energy being trapped and condensed. It's very important you build it like a pyramid, because what you want is you want a inverted pyramid, basically. You want it to where it's wide and absorbing, and then you want it condensed to a focal point, and then you want it to come back out again. So basically, if you take two pyramids, put them upside down, the points together, you'd be creating like a botch wall in the center of 0 point energy, and then you would have absorption and compression, and then you would have as well out here absorption and compression in the middle, and that makes the Bach wall in the center. So pretty cool stuff. I can't say it's anybody's theory out there particularly, but it's just my own insight on what I've been working on, what I've been reading about, and how I see things. But for right now, I sure would like to prove that I could take A to B, create a standing wave based on my transmitter. My receiver should not have to be anything of equal size or anything. The receiver should be an air capacitor. It's tuned, that you tune, and you'd be able to adjust from the transmitter to that spot, and then your standing wave becomes that spot. So that would have to be in a sense of throwing a particular rod down in the ground, and the rod would have to be sort of like a hollow chamber in it, so it's more of a you can create a vibratorial echo chamber in there, and that's where sound comes in. I don't know if you out there, you guys, you follow Tesla Explorer, but I just watched the video of Abraham's lab. Ryan was at Tesla Explorer's location, it looked like, and they were obviously goofing around, and Ryan put his hand up to a solid state Tesla coil and covered his back like this, and eventually the bolt hit him here, and it was a solid hit, and he backed off, and you guys got to check it out. And then the scary part is he was backed off a little bit, and then a bolt came right by, whizzing by his face. You know what I see dangerous there? I wouldn't want that hitting my eyeball. And just be careful, you guys out there. You too, Ryan. Insane, my broham. Insane. Insane stuff right there. So check it out if you guys haven't seen it. Check out Abraham's lab. And his latest video, you'll see him and Tesla Explorer. I guess Tesla Explorer was at the wheelhouse there, controlling the Sparky Doos. And yeah. Not looking too fun. Dangerous. But anyway, peace out. I'll continue this later. Obviously you can see it taking shape, keeping about a 1/4 inch distance all the way around. And we'll get this all laid out. And then we'll be able to take our secondary and should be able to screw it in. I think my nut's going to need a little more reinforcing, so I'm going to use more of a JB weld, but basically, yeah, you see it, it'll be like that, and I'll be able to adjust it all the way down, get this linear with this. Get it just a little below or above. It's just like tuning. Just one way to get it dialed in, guys. There's obviously a lot of parts to the Tesla coil, especially. We'll get into each segment on the power supply. We're going to use a combination here of a static gap and a rotary gap. So we're going to have a rotary gap here that we'll talk about building and how you can make your own. And so you'll have those two, and then we'll also have a capacitor bank that be for your primary. And from there we'll start talking about top load, and then we'll talk about the resonator that we're going to create that goes in the ground. And then we're going to talk about the pickup, we'll call it, the receiving coil, what we're going to do with that. We're going to have a couple versions of stuff. Like I said, they'll have a sister coil to this, wound the opposite way, with a coiled around primary, but for different opposite. Everything's spun the opposite, and then the primary should pick up good amperage through the inverse coming from down into the secondary and back out through the primary is what will happen. But I believe that we could make as well as a air capacitor small coil that's in a harmonic. And that's the key thing that we're going to talk about here, is the wavelength cut in half to be a harmonic, and then you have a third harmonic, and then I believe you have a fifth harmonic and a 3/4 harmonic, 7/8 harmonic, I believe. I believe these are nodes. So these are high points, standing waves to a low pressure node, and then back up again to your standing wave. And this is how you spread out your dipoles, we'll call them, because every node is a flip, a rotating change of the energy that came out, comes through, gets to the first node, flips, and then it comes to the next one and flips. And we're going to get into that, study it, and we're going to check out if we're able to adjust with an air capacitor, stick a rod in the ground so it's connected to the ground, be a little antenna with a capacitor that's matching the top load of this guy, which will be obviously in picofarads. So once we match that, we're tuned in here. Wherever we stick in the ground, we should be lighting up and be able to, lighting up light bulbs, be able to do stuff. Fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the build. Been busy. I've been working on different stuff, but basically working home, busy at work, and working around the house, honeydew list stuff. And I wanted to get excited about this. Power to Eddie Scallon, power to Tesla, power to Marconi, and also power to Wilhelm Reich. And power to all my listeners. You guys have a great night. Thank you. Adam, you my homebrew.